Hi, just wanted to share a quick tidbit with you about being organized. This morning, I just kind of got tired of looking at all of the different piles of stuff I had everywhere. And I go to a lot of these conventions, conferences, meetings, that kind of stuff, and I accumulate a lot of material. And rather than just take the time to sift through it that day, that afternoon, or even the next morning, I just let it pile up, pile up, pile up, which is not healthy. But that's me. That's kind of my weak point, so to speak. So this morning I just got tired of looking at all of these different piles, and it was just like three piles, but three piles is just way too many piles for me. And I sifted through it, and most of it was garbage. So what I want to share with you is an important tidbit about being organized and having some type of system in place to keep yourself not only organized but productive. Now, having those three piles didn't mean that I wasn't productive, but I just eventually got sick of it. And if you don't go through those piles, you'll have piles everywhere, and then you'll be stepping over piles, and you might find stuff that you need to respond to, but you missed the deadline or whatever the case may be. So, find a system that helps you remain organized, but also that you can do things in a more timely fashion. I know it's easy for us. I know for me, when I use my calendar, if it's not a priority, it keeps getting bumped. Like these piles, it's not a priority. So guess what? It kept getting bumped and bumped and bumped and bumped and bumped. And next thing you know, it's 3 months later from the conference, and what? So, it's important that you don't keep bumping non priority things, but as you bump them, you need to change their priority status. This way, you're able to be efficient and still get everything done that you need to get done and not keep carrying things over and over and over and over again. And it's easy to do because you look at it and you're like, oh, I got some more pressing things to do. But it's just as important to stay organized and have a neat workspace so that you're not feeling overwhelmed by things that really are not a priority. But when you have a whole bunch of little non-priority things that build up, what ends up happening is you feel overwhelmed because you don't feel like you're being productive. You don't feel like you're getting enough done because everything is piling up. Well, everything is piling up because you just got piles of what you consider to be things that are not important. And so it's important to have some type of organization system in place for those things, especially for those non-important things that you just keep putting off and putting off and putting off. So what I recommend is in your planner or whatever process you go through, when you schedule your day or schedule whatever you do, if you have something that's a low priority one day, the next day it can't stay a low priority. Bump it up to a medium priority. If you don't get to it that day, the next day it needs to be high priority. Why? Not because you don't have other things more important to do, but you don't want to have things constantly linger, because what happens is you develop a bad habit. And those types of bad habits can be detrimental to you, especially if you're in business. So these are some of the things that you want to take care of, deal with, especially in materials, because there might be something in there that could be the answer to what you're looking for, but because you haven't gone through the material yourself and taken a look to see, is this going to be valuable for me or to someone else I know, um, you won't know until you actually go through all of that stuff. And so I found a whole bunch of things that um, some that I didn't need, some that I know is going to be helpful to someone else or a couple of other people, and then most of it was all garbage. I mean, all garbage. So there's, out of three piles of stuff, I have like literally this much that's applicable to me or that I can use to help someone else. And so, it's important because it's piles and piles of stuff that was unnecessary. So, chalk it up to experience, learn from my bad habit. That's no longer a bad habit, because I'm going to make an effort to make sure that I uh, shift my priorities up so that those low priority items don't linger past 3 days. So just want to share that with you. Have a wonderful day. This is the Classified Lady signing off, sending you lots of love and light. Have a fantastic afternoon.